Hi everyone, welcome back. And we are going to be learning about LGBTQ History Month today. So this right here is the overview we have for our class today. We're going to be talking about what is LGBTQ History Month, the background on LGBTQ history, what is Stonewall, that's going to be the specific thing we're covering, which is the Stonewall riots. It's a big part for LGBTQ history, a big turning point. We're also going to talk about notable activists a part of it, and we're going to wrap up and discuss everything we learned today. So first, what is LGBTQ History Month? So that is during the month of October. You may be wondering, what is the LGBTQ community? Well, the LGBTQ plus community stands for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and the plus includes a bunch of other identities and a part of the LGBTQ community, usually concerning sexual orientation or gender identity. Something to know about this specific community is that it's been very marginalized throughout history. And there was a lot of oppression, especially throughout the 1900s or through the 20th century, that really took place. A lot of, if you probably hear about homophobia, which is like hate towards gay people, and transphobia, which is like people who are transgender, which means that they have a different gender identity than their birth sex. And yeah, so that's just a little bit of an intro to what LGBTQ History Month is. And it's here because it's really important that we emphasize the histories of marginalized communities, especially the LGBTQ plus community in their circumstance, since they've been really overshadowed throughout history and when we learn about them today. So background on LGBTQ plus history, like I said, they were marginalized throughout history. There was a lot of like fear and socially unaccepted, especially through the mid 1900s, the 20th century. One big part to know also was the Lavender Scare, which we don't really talk about much. I won't touch on it too much, but basically it was right after World War II, where a lot of people were being fired from their jobs for being out as gay or whatnot. So it was definitely something we don't talk about, and it was very widespread and ongoing all throughout the United States. Okay, our next topic. What is Stonewall? Stonewall is took place at the Stonewall Inn, which is in Greenwich Village in New York City. It's an LGBTQ plus bar, which means that a lot of people in the community of the LGBTQ community would come in. They would have different drag shows. If you don't know what a drag show is, it's where typically where members of the LGBTQ community will dress up and have different performances. That's a very vague description of it, but yes. And the reason why Stonewall was so important is because it was a safe haven for the LGBTQ plus community. You have to remember that at this time, many individuals were just feeling very unsafe and didn't have many people to bond with because not many people were out. And it was a very socially unaccepted time. So they were able to have this place where they all were able to come in and feel accepted and respected by one another. The Stonewall Riots. So they took place from June 28th, 1969 to July 3rd, 1969. So you'll see that that was about a week that it lasted, and it happened at the Stonewall Inn, just like we talked about. And what happened at the riot is that it was sparked by a police raid on the bar. So the police came in, started arresting individuals for being there and everything. And that's when this huge turning point for the gay liberation movement really took place, because you had this, basically you had the police come in and they were taking over a safe haven of the LGBTQ community, and they were sick and tired of having to deal with this frustration and this oppression constantly on a place that they were minding their own business and doing their own things. So that's when they had individuals start throwing rocks and start attacking the police. And this went on for a week, where it was kind of this fight between the LGBTQ plus community and the police. And so as that went on, there were some very key notable activists that happened that actually continued to fight for LGBTQ causes and rights. You'll see that first we have Marsha P. Johnson. She was a gay liberation activist, and she was also a self-identified drag queen. So she would dress up, as you can tell, and she identified herself that way. You also can see that she formed the Gay Liberation Front and co-founded STAR. So by forming the Gay Liberation Front, she really advocated for many different LGBTQ rights and was really at the forefront of that, of trying to make sure that all people in the LGBTQ plus community had equal rights compared to their straight counterparts. And you also had her co-found STAR, which was a group helping to support young trans kids and getting them off the streets. Like you'll see Marsha and Sylvia both are trans who were on the streets and homeless for a while. So they really wanted to stop seeing that and wanted to be that support system that they wish they had had growing up. So you also have Sylvia Rivera. She's a Latina American and a trans rights advocate. And she also co-founded STAR with Marsha P. Johnson. So they really did a lot with trying to get trans kids off the streets and making sure that they felt supported and had a home. They really wanted to make a very big statement. While there's so much more to learn about Marsha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera, one really key aspect to understand is their intersectionality, which means kind of like their different identities and how that played a role in it. At this time, especially too, you'll see that as trans women, they both were very much oppressed and not accepted in the LGBTQ plus movement. The gay liberation movement in front was very much focused on trying to get gay men, specifically white gay men, the rights to have equal rights, and they were kind of doing that and leaving, these trans women in the dust for their rights. There's a lot more to know about them, but they were key and vital in the Gay Liberation Front and also in just helping to support trans youth, especially in New York City. So to wrap up, what was the importance of Stonewall? It led to the gay liberation movement. As you can tell, they had multiple activists who really became a bigger thing for the rest of LGBTQ awareness. And they brought more awareness to improve the rights of the LGBTQ community. That's ranging from individuals who identify as gay or lesbian, all the way to individuals who identify as transgender. So this is just a quick snapshot of what Stonewall riots were all about and what LGBTQ plus history is all about. As you can tell, we will have a form that I will be sending to you all to answer a few questions to see what you learned. Thank you all.